Welcome everybody. This is my second video. My name's Todd, aka Winanoid or Winin, and I am working on a Star Trek animation project. So I'm making a short film, and partially I'm trying to learn all about script writing, modeling, animating, filmmaking, the whole bit. And I learned by doing, so I'm doing it. The Star Trek has, it's focused on Starfleet. So that ship, I spent a lot of time making models and sketches and trying to figure out exactly how I wanted it to be shaped and proportioned and all that. The other one of the other ships in the show is going to be a Ferengi freighter, and so for this one, I'm trying a different style, which is where I'm kind of looking at a picture and winging it and trying things, see how it looks, and just kind of going with a more organic process. I don't know which is best or which suits me, so I'm trying them both out. Now, this ship is going to be a freighter, like I said, but it's not going to be a big one. So think something on the order of the Millennium Falcon in size. So it's big enough for a handful of people, but not going to be a huge ship. It's not going to have a huge crew. It's not going to be hauling tons of freight. It's more smuggler, small items, that kind of thing. And it's going to be about, say, 30 to 40 meters in length. And so that's going to make it much smaller than the main ship, but bigger than the shuttlecraft that's in the show. So I've started out last time, I kind of started with a block and got to this point. Now I'm just refining it and figuring out what I'm going to do next. So if you look at the size, we'll rescale it later, but just sort of keep in mind it's about like a Millennium Falcon. And that means it's going to be maybe just one deck, maybe two decks. Might make it a little bit bigger. And then this aft area is going to be taller, so we can fit more cargo in there, but and might be some living space. Uh, this is the cargo bay door, and the bridge would be here, kind of at the front. So this is kind of similar in style to the Ferengi Marauder that's over here. Anyway, so what we're gonna do? All right. When we last left off, I had taken this ship, sort of started out with a very blocky version, and this is how I work. I sort of block it out, want the bottom to be flat, but eventually I'm going to add a subdivision modifier. And what that'll do is make the ship all rounded off, which is good, and you can add more and more and more and make it smoother and smoother looking. So eventually in the final render, it's going to look pretty smooth. So it's okay that it looks kind of blocky right now, even at this little bit of smoothing stage. Just makes it easier to work with. One of the nice things you can do if you are working with this, so you can see kind of this ghost image is what the blocks actually look like. You can take the edges and make them sharp. So if I select this face, I can go up here to this menu and adjust the mean crease. What that'll do is make it sort of conform more closely to the actual underlying 3D model, the blocky one. By doing that, I can change how it looks. Again, it's going to make it less organic and more sharp, but it might, for certain features, I might want to do that. For instance, the cargo bay here. So select that face, and if I increase the mean crease, boom. Now I have a nice flat cargo bay door, which is going to be more what I want to see. Then I have to decide, do I want this oval, or do I want to take that and maybe select, just change how I'm looking at it. Okay, so you can see this face, this is mirrored, so the same thing happens on both sides. So what I want to do now, I'm trying to get a hold of the inside of this. So I've selected those faces in there, and I can set the mean crease up to 1, turn that back on, and now I get kind of a nice perfect square, but because everything else around it is smoothed, it looks kind of ugly. Um, Also, I don't like that sort of, I like that kind of organic rounded look. So I'm going to undo that. Now I've got the nice door, but the organic around it. You can also do things like select these lines here, maybe, and try making them sharp. Doesn't do a whole lot, but if we were to select this whole face, can give it that kind of look, which is, it could be interesting. But I think the Ferengi style is more these smooth curves, so I'm not going to do that. Anyway, that's what I'll do eventually, right? So I might select the ring around the neck here and make that more of a crease. Maybe I'll do something like that. Anyway, I'll do that more of that kind of detailing later. For now, I'm still working on the main shape. So go back and look at my blockiness here. Okay, so when I go to make it more rounded, you can see it gets shorter. So what I might do is select that, turn the crease off. Might select this face, kind of raise it up. Select this one, raise it up a little. Kind of do that. Give it more of the hunched shoulder look, right? So in this case, now I really do have maybe one deck for the bridge, and then maybe a large open area, like a high ceilinged cargo area, and then a little space at the top for living quarters, perhaps. If I do that, I may want to raise this cargo bay door up a little bit, or maybe not. Kind of like that. Maybe not quite so much. Yeah, that gives me a nice profile. That matches kind of what you see in the Marauder. I'm liking this less and less. Maybe I want to have a straight neck across here. Although it is a small ship, so maybe not. Maybe what I need to do is make this bridge area a little bit bigger. I can select these faces, raise them up a bit. One thing I'm also looking at is kind of the overall size. And I'm tempted to make this, move it back a bit. How's that look? That looks kind of more like a stubby Decora. Maybe it was okay the other way. A little bit longer neck. The other thing I could consider is bringing these in. But I kind of like the, I always like ships that sort of resemble a real object. And this one kind of reminds me of an Xbox controller. I was not going for that look, but I stumbled upon it and I liked it. One area that the Ferengi ships are typically very flat on the bottom. So what I might do is I can select these faces along the bottom. And I can, if I select all those, I can try this mean crease trick and get more of a flat bottom to it. Now that may be too flat, so I want a little bit of texture, but what I can do is make it not quite 100%. Maybe try 50%. There it is. Oop, somehow I got an orthogonal. Don't like that. I should mention that I am learning as I go, so um, there we go. My Blender abilities and everything else are not the best in the world. But hopefully by watching me learn, if you're trying to learn, you can learn as well. So even with the 50%, that's still kind of too flat for me. Um, so let's try 0.25. There we go. Now it sort of feels flat, but it's not completely flat. I liked it. I didn't like it when it was 100% or 0% flatness. Felt a little bit too organic and not quite Ferengi enough. I guess the Ferengi are usually pretty flat and maybe have some like sort of indentions. I wanted to avoid it kind of looking like a big jelly bean or a gummy bear kind of thing. So I'll stick with that 0.25 for now. And what's next? All right, I paused the video a little bit just because I wanted to try something out to see if I knew how to do it, but it's going to take a little more effort, so I'm going to figure that out offline and do it for you later. But what I do want to do right now is I was trying to get the neck to be more horizontal, and it wasn't behaving. So that's something I got to figure out. Anyway, I was thinking about the flatness. Given that it is a small ship, maybe I can get away with trying a little something different. So what I'll do is look at the top view. What I was thinking is maybe having these tendrils, or whatever they are. Oops. I want to have them go down. So I can drop them down there. Get those, try dropping them down a little bit. And see what that looks like. Give it more of a scoop. If I did that, I can also, could either drop these down as well. Gives it a little bit of a kind of a droopy, or that's too droopy. The thing is also I don't want to go into kind of that Klingon or bird of prey Romulan style, so I could go up. It's kind of interesting. Again, I want to make sure I have that Ferengi style. Just because it looks good doesn't necessarily mean it looks Ferengi. And a small freighter is probably going to be landing, so having these droopy things is maybe not the best. Because if your landing gear doesn't work, you're going to destroy your ship. So let's go back to what we had. There we are. So still like that. What I'm trying to do is make it look, still Ferengi, but not Decora style. I want to do something a little bit different. Trying to figure out how to make it that though. Maybe I'm okay with as it is. So that it kind of looks like a decor from the front. Maybe I want to have it less decor-y from the side. From the top, it's unique. The other profiles still looks a little bit too much like a decora. What if I could add in a wave along the top, the same way I have it from the when you look at it from the top, it's not a circle. If I did that, we would say raise this up, lower that down. There, it's very different. But is it too much? Just a little bit. Again, now I'm worrying about it looking like a bird of prey. Although I do, yeah, I like having a little bit of variation. Maybe if I bring, that's not working. I was wondering if maybe I can bring these tips in so that I get it kind of bending around more. So to do that, what I think I have to do is, I could, so if I make this line increase the mean crease, bring it out there a little more, maybe not 100%, maybe more like 0.5, maybe too pointy, but we'll go with that for now. Yeah, we'll go back down. Okay, what I'm going to do is add in a loop cut. So we have all these surfaces here, and if you put in a loop cut, it just literally cuts a loop all the way around. So by doing that, you can kind of move it forward or aft. I'll just leave it in the center for now. But by doing that loop cut, I can now, if I select it all, I can pull it out, and that's going to give me more of that ability to create a round, like a circle, more of a circle profile. And by pulling that out, that allows me to bring this point in. Pull that out so I can get more of this rounded look. That is starting to look interesting. That's must be my catchphrase. It's already looking interesting, but now it's looking interesting in a different way. I'm liking that. It's got kind of a stingray sort of feel to it, although maybe reverse stingray. Now I want to pull this out a little bit. Push that one down a tad. Push all those down a tad. So from the front, I guess I need that up a little bit to get avoid the Decora look. Yeah, now here, from the front, it's now got a different profile. It still seems Ferengi to me. From the top, we sort of have, if we imagine the Decora being a full circle, we have a little indent there, which gives it some different character. This part here, it's starting to look a little bit too much like the bat symbol, which I don't want to do that. So I might take these and pull them out a little more. I think I'm not going to be able to avoid the bat symbol, but maybe what I'll do is move these in a little bit. Make it less pointy. And I could even move that backwards a little bit. Yeah. Like it a little bit longer. Maybe it's too long though. That's good compromise. Now, overall, I'm thinking about aspect ratio, so the height to the length. So when I look at it from this side, it seems a little bit tall to me. Maybe if I it's, gotta remember to put on X-ray mode. Okay, now if I select all that, I can shrink it. Maybe that's going to be better. Is it too stubby? So now is it, so when I look from this angle, from the top, is the length to width wrong, sort of aesthetically speaking? So you can look at it from the different modes. This one, the reason I keep saying it looks a little stumpy here is its height to length seems a little bit off. So I might want to just pull this cargo area in a little bit vertically or stretch it out a little more. From the front looks pretty good though. So here the width to height seems about right to me. So that suggests that I need the length to be longer. So if I keep the height the same, length longer, that should be good. So I can either do it I can make the sort of the head, the cockpit area longer, I can make the neck longer, or I can make the cargo area longer. I'm going to try making the cargo area longer first, just because that might help with make it not look like the bat symbol so much. So if I select those, also it is a cargo ship, so having more cargo room makes sense. And I can also think about tapering it off a little. So in the back, maybe this, kind of select the edges along the rear. See how I have kind of the entire top part of the rear. I can either just shift them down, or I can scale. That'll kind of flatten them out or accentuate it, so I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to do a straight drop. And then when I look from the side now, it's got a bit of that taper like you see in the Tacora, where it's sort of highest there, it doesn't go straight back, it slopes off. That kind of makes sense to me. Maybe I don't want to do that much. Let's look. Tell you what, I think it's this part I don't like pulling that off. So let's just do those. Shrink those down. Maybe even bring them in a little bit. No. I like the slip down. Let's take that off now. Bring that part in. Ooh, yeah, it's got some character to it now. Alright, yeah, I think that was it. I think that's what I needed to do. I like the sort of the humps here, these kind of grooves along, sort of before the wings here. That gives it a nice bit of character. It's not smooth, so the front profile again, reminiscent of Tacora, but not a mini decora. From the side, again, maybe more reminiscent of a decora, but that's okay. And then, of course, from this side, again, reminiscent of that sort of circle shape, but it's got it broken up in different ways. So yeah, I think this is made some good progress here. I think I've got some good bones, some good basic shape to go on. You can imagine they have kind of cargo bay 1, cargo bay 2, crew quarters and engineering and warp cores and all that. And then out along the edges, you got the nacelle equipment, etc. I got engines, maybe impulse engines back here and here. And then you got the main cabin here. I don't know what these are going to be. If this is, let's say if this is one deck, these little bits, maybe they're, I don't know, phaser banks. So you got some weapons here and here. Yeah. Well, all in all, I'm liking it so far. I want to figure out next time how to make the neck um, be maybe straight across so that it doesn't rise up here. That might work out well. Again, you can see if I wanted to make it even more like the Decora, I could take these inner surfaces, increase the mean crease, and make them kind of flatter. I don't necessarily like that as much. That one though, maybe. Yeah, again, I'm just playing around, trying to see what looks right, what doesn't look right. That's actually not too bad. I might want to smooth it out a little bit more, just so I don't want it totally flat. I don't want flat panels here. But um, yeah, all in all, I'm liking it. And yeah, I'll be keeping on making some videos. So far, pretty much only my kids are interested. So, hey kids, tell your friends, and I will catch you all later.